board certified internal medicine physician, and I am here tonight to share with you how you can reverse prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. If you've been worried because recently you were told you have prediabetes, maybe you were told your hemoglobin A1C is high in the pre-diabetic range or full blown diabetic range, then this talk is for you tonight. If you are someone who is, who has the diagnosis and who wants another way aside from medications, then you're in the right place tonight. So, we are going to jump into how you can naturally reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. Believe it or not, the approach that I'm going to talk about is the actual cure. It's actually the first line treatment for pre-diabetes and insulin resistance. And so we're going to talk a bit in depth tonight about how you can take steps to actually get your A1C down within 90 days. Okay, so we can get the A1C down within 90 days without confusing diets, right? You don't have to become a vegetarian. You don't have to cut meat out. You don't have to go on, all kinds of fasts. You can reverse diabetes by eating normally. So a lot of the women I work with are actually surprised and then relieved that they can actually eat while reversing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. You don't have to do it alone, right? The burnout that comes from trying to do this on your own, it can be overwhelming. So this is not something you have to do on your own. That's why I'm here tonight with you. Again, you don't have to feel starved or frustrated or miserable. You don't have to go through all these detoxes that they market out there. None of that is necessary. And, most of all, some of you might have even looked into working with holistic clinics. And I can tell you, holistic clinics that can run into the thousands of dollars. Well, the approach that I have is not, it won't break the bank. It doesn't involve expensive supplements. You can use what you have in your kitchen cabinet and you can reverse your pre-diabetes or your type 2 diabetes. So let's jump in. You're probably number one wondering who I am. Okay, what's brought me here? Well, I am a physician. I've been a practicing physician for 10 years now. I worked initially within the hospital setting where I got sick and tired of watching women come to me with end stage of diabetes, end stage of heart disease, having strokes, because the diabetes was not addressed early enough. I got tired of being there and having discussions too late rather than having it early and having it at a time that they would have a chance to have quality of life. So I decided to branch off from hospital medicine into preventative medicine. And from preventative medicine, I've actually branched into a program that I call the Reverse Her Challenge that is dedicated to reversing pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. I coach women how to do this step by step. It's all about action. So that is what's brought me here as a physician, but as a woman, okay, who has struggled with insulin resistance. I'm also coming from a place of experience as well. I was 5 years ago 30 pounds overweight, struggling with the stress of, a very high stress job with motherhood. I was in that place of burnout. And I applied the very steps we're going to talk about tonight. I applied it to my own life. And I can tell you, I am here sharing this approach with you because it works. And so I find myself in a different place today. So not only is it about reversing numbers, it's actually, I'm going to talk to you about a spiritual journey, because along the way, you're going to find out that reversing prediabetes, reversing type 2 diabetes is also about learning a lot about who you are and learning how to put yourself first and how to make yourself a priority. So it's a spiritual journey, and it's a well-rounded journey that we're going to talk about. So the reverse her challenge, remember that it's a movement that I want to start among us women. We put ourselves last. We want to start putting ourselves first so we can live a quality life. Now, this training is for you if you are feeling overwhelmed and exhausted with where you are. If you are not feeling as good as you could, but you know there's more you can do. If you know things should be done differently, but you're just not sure how. And if you realize that your health doesn't come in a bottle, and unfortunately, in the case of type 2 diabetes, a syringe, right? A lot of us are worried about the disease progressing to the point where you're going to need insulin. That's the worst case scenario. It's an ominous sign. So, we want to talk about how you can take ownership of your health. So, again, I am coming from a place of insulin resistance. I struggled with belly fat, and belly fat is just another word for visceral fat. And with that visceral fat comes inflammation, comes hormonal chaos, comes stress. It's a reflection of how stressed you are, how tired you are. So when we have when our waistlines are above a certain threshold, it's a sign that you're just unhealthy overall, and it's a sign that you're high risk for type 2 diabetes. So clearly you can see my transition from a place of misery, really, to a place where I beat insulin resistance, and I'm here to tell you how we can do that as well. So I call it the freedom formula. So the freedom formula is first and foremost all about mindset. We have to make the decision to make that change and to dedicate ourselves to ourselves and to the change. So the freedom formula, first and foremost, the first rule is you have to choose yourself. You have to choose yourself in order to regain your health, in order to gain control of your blood sugar. You have to fuel with freedom. That's talking about nutrition, okay? It's not about being restrictive, it's about changing the way we look at food. Food should be like medicine. It's about cleaning the slate. So we an approach to detox, again, that's not uncomfortable. It's not about being on some kind of a strange cleanse tea. It's all about cleaning the slate, getting rid of the toxin in the body that are contributing to insulin resistance. It's about getting back in touch with your hormones. It's about fostering hormonal harmony within your body. And it's about the strong her moves, right? It's about making sure that you are moving in a certain way to get stronger and to put muscle on your body. And finally, it's about community. So this is the freedom formula. When I say community, what do I mean? Is that we are within a community where we share information, we support each other, and with all of that, we can actually conquer prediabetes or insulin resistance. So we will cover diabetes and prediabetes, of course. We're going to cover how the healthcare crisis contributes to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. We are going to discuss the underlying causes, and we're going to discuss how you can take action to regain your health. And at the end of this, you are going to have the opportunity for a free 15-minute discovery call. So one thing I want to encourage is that, feel free to participate throughout this presentation. If you have questions or comments, feel free to put that in the chat, and I'll definitely be able to address any questions or comments as we move along. So this is the worst case scenario. This is what we want to avoid. We want to avoid being on insulin. And many of you who have type 2 diabetes, who are on the verge of insulin, remember this very discussion. You remember having the chance, the discussion with your doctor, that lifestyle was an option. Lifestyle changes was an option. You were given a couple months to implement these lifestyle changes, and it didn't work out. And so ultimately, many people, maybe some of you here tonight, some of you watching this tonight, can relate to a failed conversation with your doctor, a failed attempt at lifestyle change, and then having to transition to insulin. So again, this is what we want to avoid. For anyone who's just tuned in, please feel free to participate, to put comments in the chat, put any questions in the chat. This is an opportunity to put any questions, and I can address them as we move through the presentation. So, diabetes is far reaching. It affects every organ in our body. Okay, every organ you can think of. It affects the brain, right? High risk for stroke. It affects the heart, higher risk for heart attacks. It affects your GI system. People have digestive problems where, food can't move very well through the system. So you can have a lot of vomiting from it or nausea from it. You can have urinary issues, UTIs, yeast infections are very much associated with having diabetes. So it's far reaching. We feel tired and sluggish. That's a given. There's a lot of depression and anxiety that comes with having diabetes and prediabetes because of all the issues it can cause, and because people start to feel helpless against it, right? You feel like you've tried it all. And then excess body fat, weight gain, difficulty losing weight, those are definitely issues that go hand in hand with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. In rare cases, you're going to have the people who actually are underweight and are struggling with type 2 diabetes, and they're even more baffled as to why that happens as well. So, this discussion is for those people who might not necessarily be overweight but are struggling with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. So I always like to share success stories as we move through. This is one testimonial. One of my clients, she had PCOS. She was on the brink of starting metformin. She had was diagnosed with prediabetes, on the verge of starting metformin, and she had excess body fat. She wanted to avoid medication. She preferred to approach it from a lifestyle perspective, and so we worked together. We did a 6-week program together, and her results were dramatic. She was committed and she trusted the process, and we were able to improve her numbers dramatically. So, love to share the success stories. She was nice enough to send pictures, and so clearly you can see the before and after. You can see how empowered she appears in the after picture. She's so empowered, she's so open. So again, this is not just about numbers. This is about an evolution. This is about a spiritual journey. So many people along the way not only see improved numbers, but gain confidence in themselves and gain and learn to love themselves again. So, this is just one success story that I like to highlight. So, in order for us to understand where we are going to go, we have to understand where we are right now. So, where are we? Basically, to sum it up, we are on a sinking ship, right? We know that the healthcare system overall does not do a good enough job at addressing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes from the lifestyle perspective. The healthcare system is very, very much fixated on prescription drugs, and so that is just driving the cost up, not just for individuals, but us as a community. And so, from that drive to just do medication and not to get to the root cause, we find that a crisis develops, right? So, we are on a sinking ship. And I want to start a movement where we get off of this sinking ship, right? We find a safe place. So, we get that life raft, we get off of the sinking ship. We want to get away from this crisis. It's the sick care model, right? Unfortunately, we are kept sick because we don't get to the root cause of the issue. The costs are just unacceptable. And diabetes is actually in the top five, one of the top five chronic diseases that cause death. 70% of all deaths are caused by top five chronic diseases. Type 2 diabetes is one of them. We know that type 2 diabetes leads to amputations, it leads to infections, it leads to a lowered immune system. So, type 2 diabetes leads to just so many complications, and it overwhelms our healthcare system. So, how did we get here, right? Well, in short, we got here because of the foods, super processed foods that we have in society. We're more and more sedentary. We're more and more stressed. We're struggling with incredible stress from work. We're faced with incredible stress from chemical exposures in our foods, in our food containers, in our cleaning products, and we have become complacent. We become complacent with being on medications. And so we aren't taking the steps that we need to get to the root cause. So this is, another breakdown of the freedom formula. And so there's 5 areas that we really have to be focused on to achieve a reversal of prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. And so first and foremost, and this is not going to surprise anyone here, is nutrition. We have to make sure our nutrition is dialed in. We have to make sure we understand what we're eating and how that's affecting our blood sugars. So, learning about nutrition is critical and important. The detox, understanding what a safe detox is and how to use it in combination with nutrition. Detox, the purpose there again is to clean the slate, is to allow our bodies to get rid of toxins so that we can begin to heal. Mentorship is critical, having the right guidance. There's so much information out there. And with all this information, we get overwhelmed, we get sidetracked, and so we are not sure which direction to go. Okay. So having a good source information, and that should come from a mentor, a reliable mentor. We balance hormones through nutrition and detox and through fitness. And so all of these come together to make this formula, freedom formula, where you're free from pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. The fitness side of it, again, doesn't we don't have to be running a 5-10 mile marathon. That's not what it's about. We don't have to be on the treadmill for half an hour in a full sprint. That's not the type of fitness we're talking about. Everyone has a different level of fitness. But one of the important aspects of fitness is to make sure we're putting muscle on the body. Muscle is a critical component when it comes to managing glucose in our body. Um, so nutrition, again, that's the foundation. We have to pay attention. We balance our hormones through nutrition, through detox, and through fitness. And fitness should be focused on resistance training. So that's really important. Now, mentorship, again, really important. So it's really important. Find a mentor, find a right source that works, that is reliable, that's evidence based, and use that as your guide. So here we have yet another testimonial, another success story, and someone who was pre-diabetic. We worked together for 2 months. She also had high blood pressure. Over the course of 2 months, she was actually able to lose 7 pounds and was able to get rid of some of her medications. Again, everybody's different. Everybody has different results, but as long as you stick to it, you will get the outcome that you're looking for. And so fortunately, in this case, we had a really good outcome. So we put all these pieces together, and this is where we get the freedom formula. So it's really important to take these steps, understand nutrition, understand detox, understand how you can balance your hormones just through lifestyle, understand how to move your body to put muscle on your body so that glucose management is a whole lot better. And you will find, if you find the right source of information, reversing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes is, you can do it. It's very accessible, but it is a complicated process. It's one that has to be done orchestrated in a very specific manner. And that's why so many people have a hard time doing it on their own. But keep this in mind, it's very doable. And the approach that I have, again, is one that you're not feeling starved, you're not feeling overwhelmed. You have the right guidance and you're not breaking the bank doing it. You're not taking all these expensive supplement protocols. So the Freedom Formula, the Reverse Her system, that initiative that we have going, again, gets your A1C down within 90 days. It's a step by step coaching process that, again, fits into your life. And you, again, it's something that's very accessible. Okay. Spots are limited because we want to keep the coaching high quality. The spots are limited, so I encourage you to reach out as soon as possible because the spots are filling up. So what's next? If you want to truly reverse your prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, you want to give us a call. Okay. It's a free discovery call. That is where we get to understand your unique issue, what you want to achieve. And we can basically let you know if it's something we can help with. So we can tell you how we can help, and we can come up with a plan of action. After that, there it will be a consultation that's available, a strategy consultation that will help get you off your feet and give you an idea of where to start and where you can go next. So again, get your A1C down in 90 days. That's something that we aim to do. So one of the things you can do to book your free discovery call is you can go to this link. I'm going to put it in the chat. Click the link, book your free discovery call, and from there, and we can take it from there. It's that initial call, free 15 minutes. Then we can go on to a full transformational strategy call. And from there, you can change your entire life with the 12-week Reverse Her Challenge. So if there's no questions, if there's no comments, then I will go ahead and put the link in the chat, and you can go ahead and book the call, and we will be open to any questions that you have at that time. So look out for me for future lives where I will be discussing different aspects of reversing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. Again, this is something that's very doable. Click the link, book your free discovery call if you want more information about the 12-week challenge, 90 days, get your A1C down.